Thank you very much. Yes, lovely to be here. Hello, everyone. Fully aware that by 3:20 on a Friday, normally people are rushing to the pub or rushing for a train, so I do really appreciate you coming to my talk. Daniel said, yes, I was here this time last year on the Skyline stage. It was actually my fourth day at Botify, so this is a full year after I've had a full year to prepare these slides. So if they're terrible, then you'll know I'm just not very good at my job. Okay. Oh, that's my face. Right, so it depends. I say it. I said it about an hour ago when someone asked me an SEO question. If you work in SEO, you will have said it, probably not today, but definitely this week. If you work in paid media, CRO, social media, you will have heard SEO people say it depends. It's kind of the unofficial catchphrase of our industry, and you'll get lots of giggles if you see people say it on stage, etc. But why do we say it? Why is the answer to so many questions in our industry, it depends? And to answer this, I thought I'd ask you, and that's not any audience participation. I can see a few people wriggling in their seats and dropping eye contact with me as I look at them. I've already asked 30 SEO professionals, why do you say it depends? Fairly simple question. And here are some of the responses that I got. There are so many Google algorithm updates now, you can never plan when you might be impacted. Now, some SEO professionals will say to you, if you follow Google guidelines, if you answer the search intent of the query, if you write good content, you won't be impacted negatively from Google algorithm updates. And whilst Google has done a lot of good jobs cleaning up some of the AI content-heavy websites you've seen, maybe be de-indexed and stuff, it's actually just not true that if you follow guidelines, if you write good content, if you answer the user, then you're not going to be impacted by these algorithm updates. We've seen lots of examples of content websites be decimated from a helpful content update. We've seen an oversaturation of user-generated content in the search results. Lots of you will have seen Reddit threads. Some Reddit threads are ranking for like medical queries. And we've seen parasite SEO back in the search results. We've seen AI affiliate links in LinkedIn articles. We've seen Harvard University websites have affiliate links. So when someone says to you, how are we going to be impacted by this algorithm update, you have to say it depends. Our ability to implement our roadmap is so inconsistent, we never know when our tickets will be added or removed to a development sprint. How many does this resonate with? You do an audit, you write all your tickets up, you prioritize them, you put them in Jira, put them in Monday.com, Trello, whatever you use, and they get put into a dev sprint, and then they get shipped another week down the line, and then another week, and then another week, and by the time you're 6 months in and you've got 1 or 2 optimizations live. If you don't know when your optimization is going to go live, you have to say it depends. I can't effectively prove ROI. When I get asked for numbers, I have to say it depends. We know SEO is a profitable, valuable channel for marketing. We know it delivers results. We know it gives you more revenue. We know it grows your brand. But we don't have the same level of certainty that paid media has with return on ad spend. It's got lots of flaws, but it is a metric that basically says, if you give me $1, I'll give you 8 back. So when someone says to you, what's the ROI on this SEO campaign, you say, it depends. SEO isn't instant. You may make a change and only see the impact 6 months down the line. That's often hard to communicate to people who don't understand SEO. Again, this is the nature of an algorithm. If you make a change, and then 6 months later, it could be positive, could be a year's time, it could be another algorithm update. It's not just an optimization goes live, and then you see results. So when people ask you, when's this optimization going to make a difference, you have to say it depends. Every website is different. What works for one website won't work for another. An SEO strategy for a lead gen startup website is very different to a large enterprise website. I've worked with both the kind of smaller websites and the large enterprise websites we have at Botify, and if I make a change to 1 million title tags, that's going to have a very different impact to making a change to a homepage on a lead gen SaaS website or a startup website. This is why it's actually anonymous, all the answers, because this one Sometimes if I don't understand why something is happening, I say it depends. I don't know if anyone said this, but as comical as this is, I do think this actually points to two highlights that are really important. One is that SEO is complicated, it's difficult to learn, there's lots of great resources, lots of great conferences, but it's difficult to understand without extra support. And the other thing is, I think that it does tell you that we often have, it depends as a crutch. People will say it depends if they're not sure. Their over-reliance on it depends. So all these answers, I think, fall into two streams of work. They fall into two factors. They fall into the factors that we can't control, that we genuinely cannot control. These are factors like algorithm updates, generative AI in the search results, sector competition, the compounding impact of SEO, its complexity and the website's maturity. And then there is the factors that we think we can't control, that we're historically bad at controlling. Getting stuff done. The amount of times I hear that phrase speaking to clients is, we know what we want to do, but we're just really bad at getting stuff done. Proving a return on investment for the channel, and then communicating the value of the channel to C-suite. These are factors that we often say it depends for, that we're historically bad at controlling. So what damage does this do? What damage does our over-reliance on saying it depends do for the SEO channel? Ultimately, it does this. It means that organic as a channel is underinvested compared to other channels like paid media, email, CRO. CEOs like certainty. They don't like uncertainty. They don't invest in uncertainty. So if you're consistently saying it depends, you're consistently giving them an uncertainty, which means that your channel isn't going to get as much investment, which means you can't grow your team, which means you can't get the tools and the suite that you need to do your job. And that's why SEO is undervalued compared to other channels, because we are over-reliant on saying it depends. So how do we reduce our reliance on saying it depends? So I think we have to focus on these factors here. The factors that we think we're bad at controlling, and we've been historically bad at controlling, that we actually have more control over than we think we do. So getting stuff done, proving ROI, and communicating value to C-suite. And I'll show you how we do it. So we do it through accelerate, demonstrate, and amplify. So accelerate is getting things done. Demonstrate ROI. Amplify, how do you amplify those results to the business leaders that will sign off you extra budget? Okay, so step one, accelerate, how are we getting stuff done? So this is an interesting study from the State of Technical SEO report that said around 2/3 of SEO changes take more than 1 month to action. We looked at our client base and we actually found that average to be a lot higher. It was around 5 months, the average lead time for our customers to make a single SEO fix. These are large enterprise websites, they have large, complex CMSs, long sign-off process. It's really hard for some of these kind of clients to make a single change, to take 5 months, and that's on average. Some of them can take up to a year, 2 years, to make a single change. So what is the solution? So the solution is automation. The solution is the ability to make changes to your website independent upon engineering, independent upon a dev sprint. We use a solution called PageWorkers. Now, PageWorkers allows you to make changes to a website without the need for a development resource. It can do something as simple as changing a title tag, or changing lots of title tags, but it can do something as complicated as updating your hreflang tags, creating new breadcrumbs, updating a footer, your navigation. And ultimately, this gives you back control over your development process, your development sprint. You don't need the same level of support and blockages that you'd have if you didn't have a solution that allowed you to automate and make changes to your website without the need for developers. And this isn't me saying get rid of developers, this means that developers can focus on other things that they are incredibly useful at, before any developers in the audience think I'm trying to get them out of a job. So what are some of the results? So if we looked at some of the clients that don't have PageWorkers in our company, the time from idea to implementation on average was around 4 to 6 months. When they've used page workers, that drops down to 2 weeks. It's 10 times faster from idea to implementation. The total effort and resources required to deploy a modification was around 10 days. SEO resource, development resource, all in one. With page workers, that dropped to half a day. 20 times faster, 20 times less resource. Our client Game, for those of you who don't know Game, they're a UK gaming and electronics retailer. They're part of the Frasers Group. So they're House of Fraser, Sports Direct, Flannels, etc. Black Friday is huge for these guys, understandably. And they wanted to make changes to their Black Friday pages and their website in time for the season, but their legacy CMS meant they couldn't do that. So they installed page workers. They made changes to the title tags, metadata, improved the entire internal linking structure to these Black Friday pages. And they saw results of 84% of pages crawled due to the discoverability improvements from the internal link structures. That translated into a 24% increase in impressions and an 8% increase in clicks. And while 8% might not be as impressive as some of the slides you might see today, where it's like 2,000% increase, 8% for a retailer as big as this on Black Friday translates to a lot more revenue. Okay, so we've got the ability to make changes to our website fast without the need for engineering. We now need to be able to prove a return on investment for our channel. And for me, this comes down to the languages we're speaking. So executives traditionally speak about revenue and ROI. They talk about ROI, customer acquisition costs, lifetime value, numbers that come down, languages that come down to numbers, to revenue, return on investment. Whereas traditionally, and I've been guilty of this myself, SEO managers talk about the technical metrics. They talk about crawlability, indexability, rankings. That translates to visits. So we're speaking different languages. We need to be able to speak the languages of the executives to be able to demonstrate a return on investment. At the end of last year, we launched ROS, which is return on organic search spend, which is the SEO equivalent of ROAS. So ROAS is a return on advertising spend. So we've attempted to create the same methodology that allows you to be able to say to your line manager, your C-suite, if you give me £1, I will give you £5 back. And ultimately, if you can give that certainty, if you can give that clarity to C-suite and the people that sign off the revenue budgets, then you're going to get more investment. These are some of the stuff that goes into the calculations. So we have some revenue inputs. We have annualized traffic over the last 3 years. Takes into account stuff like COVID, seasonality, good years, bad years. We look at the revenue per visit. Look at the current annual revenue before costs. And then we apply some factors like the compounding nature of SEO and some other Spotify metrics we have in the platform. We then look at the costs. So software and licensing, do you use Spotify, Semrush, Ahrefs? Other tools are available, of course. We look at the paid search media budget, the agency and services budgets that you pay, and the technical people costs, so developers, for example. And we pull out a ratio, a metric, similar to ROAS. So this is for a global luxury retailer, and they were confident that their paid search ROAS was $2.9. So for every dollar that they brought in, that there's a channel, they got $2.9 back. And using ROS, you could calculate that without automation, so without something like page workers, without an automation suite, that the return on organic search spend, so their ROS was $3.2 to 1. So for every dollar, bought back 3.2. Then if you layer over an automation suite, so that this one was page workers, for example, and you take away developer costs that's saved by not needing them for this process, the time to be able to impact and the speed you can put your optimizations in, that jumped up from $3.2 to $1 for every 8 that you got back. There's a real difference if you look at the channels, the power of automation, and if you can calculate return on investment for SEO, you can see how profitable and fantastic SEO is as a channel. Okay. So we've made changes to our website super fast. We can demonstrate a return on investment. How do we then amplify and share these results with the people that matter? This is all about measuring the impact of SEO and tying it directly to the business critical KPIs. So here are some tips that I found to be really useful when you're communicating your value to C-suite. Remember to always highlight the business-focused metrics. This is stuff we've been talking around: revenue, ROI, these numbers that the executives care about, the language that they speak. Make sure you're always highlighting these. Set up a custom report and share with them on a regular cadence. You can create metrics such as like search market share. They love to be able to see where they place versus their competitors. If you're tying in revenue metrics with market share, this is the language that they speak and the language that they'll understand. They don't want to know how many indexable pages you've got. They don't want to know how many pages were crawled by Google last week. Like, I barely want to know that, and I'm not an executive. So present the results within the context of your leader's main KPIs or critical business goals. So what I like to do when we bring a client on board is we look at the objectives of the wider business. What's their objective? Is it to grow to be the biggest marketplace in Europe? How does digital as a whole contribute to that? 10% growth in online sales, for example. And then how does organic contribute to that? Does organic need to grow by 20% to hit that 10% to then dominate the European marketplace? So it's all about laddering up the business critical KPIs that they are being judged on and making sure that organic and SEO can contribute to that wider business model. And then finally, adding the context and highlighting the why. Who are you speaking to? Why should they care? Do they need a 100-page report? Do they need a huge slideshow? Or do they need a one-pager? Do they need just a phone call with you? Adding the context of what you're doing and highlighting the why is super important for being able to demonstrate value. And these are some of the don'ts. They should be fairly straightforward, but don't lead with vanity metrics. Like, if you're leading with domain authority, then I would highly suggest you don't do that, as its metric is a bit, I don't want to swear on stage, so I won't say it. Don't use SEO jargon that may confuse the stakeholders. So don't talk about rendering budgets, don't talk about stuff that they don't care about, SEO jargon, just try and confuse them. Don't overuse the word "it depends." And don't report on inconsistent timeframes. So don't report on a month, compare month on month when actually it could be stuff like year on year for seasonality. These are some of the stuff that we've got in platform that helps you do that. Now, we've already got traffic data, we've got crawl data, we've got site structure, we've got metadata, everything within the Spotify platform where we unify all your data into one place. But we're laying over more data points. We're laying over competitor rankings, paid search data, giving you as much data as possible in the context of your website to be able to tell stories better, to be able to come to conclusions and talk the language that executives talk. We've created out new storytelling capabilities, so better templates within the custom reporting function that allows you to talk business metrics. So it's not just how many pages have been crawled, it's how's that directly related to the revenue that these pages drive. And then we've made it easier to share, integrate with more tools, more platforms to be able to make it so you can share with the platforms that your business leaders are on and that they understand and that they can work with. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with this. There are always reasons why you will say it depends, and I'm not saying the title of the talk is the end of it depends ? Because it will always depend. There are reasons such as algorithm updates, like website maturity, generative AI jumping into the search results. But there is certainly an over-reliance on saying it depends for the factors that we think we can't control, but actually we've got a lot better control over. So getting stuff done, proving a return on investment, and communicating value to the C-suite, the business leaders that are going to give you more budget. Now, I talked about C-suite, CMO, CEOs, investing in certainty. This is what we tend to say when we get asked these questions. When are these optimizations going live? It depends. What's the ROI for SEO? It depends. How do I see this channel, how this channel has impacted our business? It depends. This doesn't get investment. if you can say this, when are these optimizations going live? This Thursday. What's the ROI on SEO? The ROS is 8 to 1. How do I see this channel, how this channel has impacted our business? Here's a dashboard giving you all the metrics you need to be able to make and understand the value of our channel. This gets investment. This is what CEOs invest in, certainty. So we need to be able to talk their language. We need to be able to invest our time in the language that they speak and reduce our reliance upon saying it depends, because that's what's going to grow the channel, and that's what's going to get you more investment. Thank you very much. Appreciate coming to the talk.